Jamal's face burned as the laughter echoed around him, but he kept his gaze forward, determined not to let their words get to him. He knew better than to show weakness, but that didn't make the sting of their insults any easier to bear. His sneakers, scuffed, worn, and barely held together, were the result of countless hours his mother worked to provide for their family. And yet here he was, mocked by kids who thought their expensive clothes and shiny shoes made them better. As Jamal passed by, the insults continued, each one designed to make him feel small. Chase's voice rang out, louder now. "Yo, Jamal, what's wrong? Can't afford some real kicks?" Logan chimed in with a laugh, his words dripping with mockery. "Guess you gotta walk around like you're poor, huh?" Jamal's fists clenched at his sides, but he refused to show them the anger they craved. He kept walking, trying to drown out their voices. They were just words. They didn't define him. Blake called after him one more time, his words cutting through the air. "Don't worry, Jamal. We know you're just saving up for a bus ticket, not a new pair of shoes." The group of rich kids laughed again, but this time Jamal didn't flinch. Instead, he walked faster, heading to class, hoping to escape their mocking voices. Maya, one of the few people who had ever treated him with kindness, watched from a distance, shaking her head in frustration. She had seen this too many times before, the way the privileged kids at school took pleasure in belittling others. Jamal didn't deserve this. Maya whispered under her breath, "Y'all are gonna regret this." But she knew Jamal didn't need anyone to fight his battles for him. He was stronger than they realized. Jamal walks to his locker, trying to ignore the whispers and snickers behind him. His sneakers are worn, the soles barely holding together, but he walks with purpose, determined to get through the day. The laughter from the bullies echoes in his ears, but he pushes it aside, his focus on the task at hand, surviving high school. Lunch comes around, and Jamal heads to the cafeteria. The table he usually sits at is empty, so he grabs a tray and finds a quiet corner. He lowers his head as he eats, not paying attention to the buzz of conversation around him. The sounds of the cafeteria, students chatting, trays clattering, laughter, blend into a dull background noise. Maya, a classmate from a few grades above him, notices Jamal sitting alone. She's always been one of the few who doesn't look down on him. She walks over, sitting beside him without saying a word at first. Her presence is a comfort, something Jamal appreciates in the midst of all the chaos. Maya softly, "Ignore them. They don't even know who you are." Jamal glances at her, offering a small smile, but feeling the weight of the teasing still in his chest. He knows Maya means well, but the pain of the mockery stings more than he lets on. Jamal, sighing, "They're right, though. I don't have money like them." His voice drops and his eyes fall to his sneakers, embarrassed by the state they're in. Maya gives him a look, eyebrows raised in disbelief. She leans in slightly, her voice steady and clear. "Maya, money doesn't make you better than someone." Jamal nods slowly, but the words don't quite reach him. He's heard them before, from his grandma, from other people trying to comfort him. He knows they're right, but the reality of his life doesn't always reflect that. The world doesn't always see past the surface, and in a place like high school, surface matters. Jamal stays quiet, the weight of his thoughts pulling him into his own world. The rest of lunch passes in a blur, Chase and his friends still mocking him in the background. Jamal tries to ignore them, but it's hard. He wants to prove them wrong, but he doesn't know how. Later, when the school day ends, Jamal heads home. The walk feels longer today, the weight of his sneakers dragging him down, reminding him of everything he doesn't have. As he steps into the small apartment he shares with his grandma, the familiar smell of home greets him. It's nothing fancy, just a modest two-bedroom with peeling wallpaper and creaky floors, but it's his sanctuary. His grandma greets him with a warm smile and a soft hug. "Grandma, how was school today, Jamal?" Jamal shrugs, his mind still on the teasing he faced earlier. He doesn't want to burden his grandma with his worries, so he just smiles and tells her it was fine. Later, as the evening sets in and his grandma dozes off in her chair, Jamal retreats to his room. He opens his laptop and logs into his trading account. The screen lights up with green numbers, the trades he's been making over the past few months showing steady growth. A sense of calm washes over him as he reviews his gains. This is where Jamal feels in control, where he can turn his dreams into reality. Jamal, whispering to himself, "This is how I'll change everything." His fingers dance over the keys, calculating and analyzing his next move. The numbers on the screen flash bright green again, signaling a successful trade. It's not much, but it's enough to give him hope. The kind of hope he hasn't felt at school, where everything feels stacked against him. He leans back in his chair, staring at the screen, knowing that every small step he takes now will lead to something bigger. He doesn't know when, but one day, he'll walk into school with his head held high, no longer defined by the sneakers on his feet, but by the strength he's built from within. As he closes the laptop, a sense of resolve settles in his chest. This isn't just about the money, it's about proving that no one, not even the bullies, can define who he is. He has dreams that go far beyond what they can see, and he's determined to make those dreams come true, no matter the obstacles. The next morning, the school parking lot is buzzing with activity as students pour in, ready to start the day. But today, there's something different. The hum of conversation fades into silence when the unmistakable roar of a black Lamborghini breaks through the morning air, its engine rumbling as it pulls into a parking spot. The sleek, expensive car gleams under the sun, drawing the attention of everyone nearby. The students freeze, eyes wide, mouths agape as the car comes to a halt. A few start whispering, pointing at the luxury vehicle. It's not just any car, it's a symbol of wealth, power, and success, and it's parked right here, in the middle of the student lot. Chase, Logan, and Blake are the first to notice, their faces going pale. They exchange stunned glances, unsure of what's going on. Blake, whispering, shocked, "No way! Who is that?" Chase squints, trying to figure out who could possibly be driving such a car. He shakes his head in disbelief. Chase, stammering, "Wait, what? How?" The car door opens, and out steps Jamal, dressed to impress. His outfit is sharp, tailored, crisp, and effortlessly stylish. He walks with a confident stride, his sunglasses perched on his nose, as if he owns the place. He glances over at the trio of bullies, who now stand frozen in place, completely taken aback. Maya, who has been watching from a distance, smirks to herself as she watches the spectacle unfold. She steps forward, arms crossed, her voice dripping with satisfaction. Maya, smirking, "Told you y'all were gonna regret it." Jamal pauses, adjusting his sunglasses as he stops in front of the group. Chase, Logan, and Blake stand speechless, their jaws drop to the ground. They look at each other, struggling to comprehend the situation. Chase, still stunned, barely able to speak. "Wait, how is this even possible?" Jamal looks at him, his expression cool and collected. He raises an eyebrow, his voice calm but dripping with confidence. Jamal, looking Chase dead in the eye. "What happened, Chase? You're usually so loud." The words hit hard, and the effect is immediate. Chase's face turns red with embarrassment, his pride wounded. The swagger he once had completely vanishes, replaced by awkwardness and regret. Logan and Blake shift uncomfortably, unable to find anything to say. The parking lot, once filled with the chatter of students, now feels eerily silent. Everyone is watching, waiting to see how the bullies will respond. But there's no comeback. There's no snide remark or mockery. The tables have turned, and the power dynamic has shifted. Jamal adjusts his jacket, straightening up as he walks past them, his steps deliberate and full of purpose. The crowd watches in awe, the tension in the air palpable. No one knows the full story behind his transformation, but in this moment, it doesn't matter. Jamal has become someone they can no longer ignore, and the bullies who once targeted him are now left to face the consequences of their actions. As Jamal continues walking toward the entrance, Maya follows him, her eyes sparkling with pride. She knew this moment was coming. Blake stammers, his eyes wide as he takes in Jamal's new appearance and the sleek Lamborghini parked in the school lot. Blake, dude, how did you afford that? Jamal smirks, his expression cool and collected, as he crosses his arms over his chest. Jamal, let's just say, I made some smart investments while y'all were busy running your mouths. Blake's mouth opens and closes as he struggles to come up with a response. The once confident and mocking bully is now at a complete loss for words. He glances at Chase and Logan, who are equally speechless. Chase, trying to recover from the shock, nervously laughs and scratches the back of his neck. Chase, come on, man. We were just messing around. No hard feelings, right? Jamal tilts his head slightly, giving Chase a look that says everything. His smirk widens, but it's not friendly. Jamal, oh, now you want to be friends? The sudden shift in power is palpable. The once dominant group of bullies is now reduced to uncomfortable silence. They stand there, trying to come up with a way to salvage the situation, but nothing comes. They realize they've backed the wrong person. Maya, who's been watching the entire exchange from the sidelines, shakes her head in disgust. She's heard enough. The fake apologies and attempts to regain the upper hand are nothing more than empty gestures. Maya, shaking her head. Y'all are fake. When he had nothing, you laughed. Now you're acting friendly? The words hit hard, and the bullies remain silent, clearly unable to defend themselves. They know Maya's right. Jamal takes a deep breath, his gaze shifting back to his Lamborghini. He walks toward it slowly, making sure they all see him, confident, calm, and in control. Jamal, smirking. Funny how money changes things, huh? The bullies, now the ones left to feel humiliated, can only stare at Jamal as he walks past them, heading toward his car. They're stuck in the realization that they've treated someone unfairly, only to be proven wrong in the most dramatic way possible. Jamal slides into the driver's seat, turning the key in the ignition. The engine hums to life, and the sound is a stark contrast to the awkward silence left behind by the bullies. As Jamal drives off, the looks of envy, shame, and regret follow him. He doesn't need to say another word. His actions have already done the talking. As Jamal walks past the bullies, the once confident trio now silent and ashamed, something catches his eye. At the bus stop just ahead, a new kid stands, his shoes old and torn, his head lowered as he waits for the bus. He's clearly an outsider, someone who doesn't quite fit in, just like Jamal used to feel. Jamal slows down, his footsteps faltering for a moment. He stops, then turns to the new kid. His face softens, no longer the confident and smug teenager who had just silenced his former tormentors. Jamal, smiling. Need a ride? The new kid looks up in surprise, his eyes widening as he takes in the shiny Lamborghini parked in front of him. He hesitates for a moment, not believing what he's hearing. New kid, uncertain. Seriously? Jamal nods, unlocking the car with a smooth motion, the sound of the lock clicking echoing in the stillness. The new kid hesitates for a split second longer before stepping forward, his gaze flickering between the Lamborghini and Jamal. Jamal. Yeah, hop in. The new kid steps into the car, his disbelief still evident, but a look of excitement and gratitude crossing his face. He slides into the passenger seat, looking at Jamal with a mix of awe and admiration. The doors close with a satisfying thud, and Jamal puts the car into gear. He pulls away from the curb with ease, the engine roaring to life as the car speeds down the road. Behind them, the three bullies stand frozen in place, watching the scene unfold. Chase, Logan, and Blake exchange looks, their faces flushed with embarrassment. They watch as Jamal, once the target of their ridicule, drives off with a kid they never even bothered to notice. Someone who, like Jamal, was once dismissed because of his appearance. Maya, who's been standing nearby, crosses her arms and watches the entire thing with a satisfied smile on her face. She looks directly at Chase, her voice dripping with sarcasm. Maya, looks like Jamal isn't the one with broke morals after all. Chase's face turns red, and he opens his mouth to say something, but no words come out. Blake shifts uncomfortably, his head down. Logan scratches his neck, still in disbelief, unable to make sense of what just happened. Maya raises an eyebrow, watching them stew in their humiliation. There's nothing more to say. Jamal has already shown them exactly who has the broke morals and who has the true heart. The car speeds off, the sound of music blasting from the speakers, filling the air with an energy Jamal hasn't felt in a long time. He looks over at the new kid, who is still grinning from ear to ear, completely in awe. New kid, laughing. I can't believe this is real. You just gave me a ride in a Lamborghini. Jamal laughs too, but there's a quiet humility to it. He doesn't need to boast. The kindness he's showing speaks louder than any material possession. Jamal, smiling. Sometimes, people just need a little help. No one should have to walk alone. The music continues to play, and the car races down the street, the moment forever etched in both Jamal's and the new kid's minds. Behind them, the bullies are left standing there, staring after them, realizing they've just made the biggest mistake of their lives. Not only did they mock Jamal, but they also learned the hard way that you should never judge someone by the way they look or what they have. For Jamal, it's a new chapter, one where he knows his worth, his strength, and the importance of humility, no matter how successful he becomes. For the bullies, it's a harsh lesson they won't forget anytime soon. As Jamal drives off into the future, the sound of the engine roaring ahead, the past, the teasing, the ridicule, and the injustice fades away. And with it, so do the voices of those who thought they could break him. He's stronger now, and he's ready to continue on his own terms, knowing that the road ahead is his to conquer.